Hi everybody, it's Danny Schur, composer, producer, writer. Welcome to Musical Mondays. Today's episode, career and life advice from a two-time Emmy Award-winning cinematographer. Welcome back everybody. My Stand movie musical is playing on virtual cinema right now. You can get tickets at the link in the description below. And while you're at it, why don't you consider subscribing to the channel and click that notification button. You can also get the music for the Stand movie musical on iTunes. Today you're in for a treat. I've got an exclusive interview with two-time Emmy Award-winning cinematographer Roy H. Wagner, ASC. We had the pleasure and the honor of having Roy be our DOP for the Stand movie musical. Now when people ask me, how did you attract the likes of Roy? This is a guy who was on set for Funny Girl. Decades of experience on everything from Nightmare on Elm Street to the TV series Donovan. The truth is, Roy cares deeply about art. He cares not just about what the movie is saying, but the people he's working with. Even if you're not a cinematographer, what Roy has to say about life goals is an inspirational speech that everyone would do well to hear. So sit back and relax and enjoy this exclusive interview with Roy Wagner.
To me, life is a journey, and it's all about what's in front of you. And if I'm offered something, I tend to try to embrace it because you never know quite where it's going to take you. I was trained by a director of photography that did everything. He was an MGM cinematographer. He was Judy Garland's cinematographer. He was did My Fair Lady, Funny Girl, Hello Dolly. So he did everything from Picture, Dorian Gray, Streetcar Named Desire to musicals. So I tend to embrace everything and try to find a way to express my own personal point of view with the images. I was incredibly impressed by Danny Schur's passion. I didn't know him. I really didn't know anything about the Winnipeg strike, but when I began to hear about it, I was keenly interested, and a friend of mine was the director, and so I started studying about it, speaking to Danny, and discovered that he'd been on this journey himself for many, many years. And I felt that anybody that had invested this much of their life into one thing obviously must have a passion and must have a yearning to tell this story. So I wanted to see if there was a way I could help him. It was a story about people. It wasn't about the strike as much about the people that had gone through the catastrophe of that era, and it kind of seemed not unlike what we're going through today. And so for me, I liked the fact that those characters were very much like modern characters. Technology should always be driven by the people telling the story, not the technology driving the story. I find too often, especially with digital technology, that because you have a particular camera or a particular light or filter or lens, that becomes the most important thing about the making of the film. And from my point of view, it's never about the technology. It's about the compassion or the passion or the desire of the people using that technology. Today, it's all about who has the most toys. And for me, I want to make sure that the toys don't get in the way of telling the story. For me, the images come from the soul of the characters. It's not some key fill light backlight scheme. It's always based upon what are the characters going through at that particular moment in the story, and how can I personally express what those characters are feeling. And this film has specifically two visual arcs. It has a cold and gritty, kind of ruthless approach when we're in the environs of the strikers or the workers. Oftentimes, it's much more contrasted, and in many instances, you don't see a lot of detail in their faces because, from the point of view of the owners, from the point of view of the people that are the money, none of the workers have any identity. They're all just a part of the system. Whereas when you get into the owners' environs, like in the mansion, That is a warmer, more golden, prosperous look. It's more like Technicolor because they have everything going for them. And at the end of the film, obviously, you see that the truth of the matter is that they had nothing going for them, that the workers were the ones that had the most passion and the greatest dreams and aspirations. So I'm playing the visuals against the story, and I'm hoping that that will help the viewers have a better understanding of what the characters are feeling deeply within themselves. One of the things I learned a long time ago was to sort of, when you walk into a location, see what God's given you, sort of embrace what's been given you, and see how you can interpret that to your best advantage. And in that particular environment, it meant for me blocking out all the windows on the lower level so that it would be dark, but all the light would be coming from above. And I find often that I will see what a particular location gives me visually instead of trying to redirect it into something that I specifically believe it should be. And what that's allowed me to do is to kind of openly embrace wherever I'm at. It's not unlike what a documentarian or a news cinematographer might have to do by finding what is the essence of the story in front of them. And I just try to do that as an artist, theatrically. The thing I like about this musical is all the songs come from the characters and their situation. It's situational musicals instead of being, a musical tune just to sort of open up the story and give it more life. This is really deeply personal, these music numbers. And so, again, that was probably one of the things I really liked about it, because many of the musicals that I've observed don't, although they're fun to do, they don't really help tell the story. They are just an addendum to the story. I admire anybody that follows their dream. I often say that don't let anybody steal your dreams, especially yourself. And I find most of the times nobody can actually steal your dream from you except you, if you give up. And Danny never gave up. He just kept relentlessly going after what he wanted to do, and he's now done it. I love coming to places I've never been before. I love meeting people and discovering that each one of them has a unique voice, a unique vision for telling stories, and that they have the power for making movies better than the movies that are being made today. And that's given me great joy and great hope, because right now we are making the same films over and over and over again in Hollywood. It's just the same thing over and over. And in listening to people from here that are artists, I'm finding that there is a very powerful voice. Those stories need to be told, and the young people that I'm working with have a real passion for telling those stories.